Dee Snider, Twisted Sister, yeah, you know me, and I'm telling you to order Nobody Move at NobodyMoveBook.com.
George, you're the host with the most, and Nobody Move. Are you a dancer?
I am not a dancer, but get a couple of drinks in me, I might do that.
All right. So the story behind Nobody Move is pretty intense. Did you get a chance to learn about the book, or are you friends with Robert? How did you get involved?
I am. So I met Robert because he spoke on one of my stages for my company Speak, which is a global public speaking platform. We met there. I worked with Rob on his talk. And that talk that he did was actually the beginning of the series of events that led to the book. So I was honored to be featured in the book as well, and the book's incredible, really incredible book.
Now, having a speaking platform, right? All of us sometimes have to go through challenges before we have enough information in our journey to speak about something, right? We have to be a change maker, right? And so without any adversity, right, where can we actually have a platform to speak upon, to help people, right?
Yeah.
So are you grateful for those challenges in your journey so far?
Oh my God, so grateful. I always tell young speakers when they're first getting up, or young professionals even, they're kind of waiting for that moment to happen. And they're like, when is it going to be my time? And I'm always like, you gotta wait, you gotta be patient, you gotta live life first before you kind of get there. So, for me, kind of that lived experience is what turned me into what I am today. Rob, with this book, when you read it, it's the same situation. And I'm grateful for lived experiences. It makes us wiser, and it makes us better storytellers, and we're able to then give that advice to the next generation.
I was really honored and excited to be invited. I was like, wait, I made the list? I'm like, that's cool, because this looks like it's like one of those events that's like one of a kind. It's super special. So stay tuned for more. We're living it up right here. We're with the host, George, and we'll be right here for all the action. Stay tuned. Ladies, we are here tonight. It's so exciting, and we've got Power Magazine in the house, right? Talk to us about why you're here to celebrate Nobody Move.
So, Rob Esposito is a man who empowers women, and Jerry could tell you that more than anybody. But Power Magazine, every winter issue, we feature 10 men who inspire and empower women. And we chose Rob out of one of our 10 gentlemen. And not only did we choose him as one of our 10 gentlemen who inspire women, but we also gave him the Power Man of the Year award. Yay! So he's a special man who just empowers women, and look what he's doing. All these women here tonight to support him for the launch of his book and everything that he does.
Okay, so you have the power of the pen.
I do have the power of the pen, and sometimes it's pretty difficult because there's always a lot of mistakes that go on behind the scenes that you don't know about, and you have to check and recheck and make sure everything's perfect.
Lovely. How long have you been there, and what are you most excited about for tonight?
I've been there about 3 years, and tonight I'm just really excited to celebrate Rob because we don't often have men in our magazine, and he was a perfect choice. He inspires women, he was actually mentored by women, and I think he's a perfect example of why we have men in our magazine who empower women.
1, 2, 3, Nobody Move! Connection to tonight's event?
So I helped, I actually helped Rob get the book published. Okay. We went to lunch one day, we were talking, he wanted to do a book, and with my connection I managed Dee Snider, and I've worked with multiple celebrities. I've had multiple books published, so it just seemed like it made sense because I'm also a realtor. So knowing what's missing in the industry, talking to Rob, who's so high up there in the industry, who has dealt with so many realtors, it just seemed like the next step for us.
Now, what made you go into real estate? Both things are people. Entertainment is people oriented,
Yes.
and so is real estate. What made you decide to do that hybrid?
I have a need to sell. I love selling. I was a stockbroker for 11 years, and then I sold motorcycles. I was the vice president of Von Dutch Custom Cycles. I was out in Hollywood selling TV shows and working with reality TV shows. And when I came home, I was just kind of, what's my next step? And real estate started getting hot, and I got licensed, and I do very well at it. Moving is one of the top 3 most stressful things you could do in your life. It's right up there with losing a loved one. So if we could show how it's not just moving, it's kind of moving you through life and helping, making sure that it's a smooth transition. That's what we tried to accomplish. So this is really, tonight is really a gala for the book release, which is coming out January 15th. But we're also going to air a commercial that Rob did with Dee Snider for Relocators.
With us now is Denise. Denise, you've known Robert for a really long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was the first one to meet him.
Do you still like him?
I do like him. Actually, I do. Yes. It's funny you say that because I usually say that to people. I like him.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. That's character.
I like my kids now too. In fact, I just texted my daughter Elise. I said, you know what? I really like you. You know, and it's interesting when your children get to be a certain age and you can almost, you're still their parent. You should always
Right.
be their parent.
Right.
But you can also be their friend.
Right. Exactly. Now that I've retired, we're becoming better friends.
Lovely.
Yes.
Tell us about the journey. I think it was like he was around 12 or something, like, and he
I
started working on
remember-
the sales.
Yes, but I remember when I first started my business, I was on the rug in my bedroom making signs for estate sales, and Robert was laying on my bed and he said, "You're nuts. This is never going to work. This is never going to work." And I was one of those women that, no, I'm going to make this work.
Right.
Because I always gave 150% to other people working, and I wanted to do it for myself and others. So I started the company. My boys Robert needed to go to work, and he started working with me, and he saw that I was giving jobs out to other people, and he was smart enough to say, let me get my first box truck.
Yeah.
And his dad was very much together with me with it. He got him his first box truck. He helped him get it.
Lovely.
And he just kept making it bigger and bigger and bigger and greater and greater.
So congratulations, because I
Thank
feel
you.
like it takes the entire world, right, for us to be able to like lift one another up, and that's what his book does.
Yes.
His book has so much
Yes.
knowledge and heart in it.
Yes, treasure your relationships, not your possessions.
Now, Robert, I love the title. So tell us about that, because it's hard to title a book, right?
So hard. Actually, to be honest with you, I wound up hiring a couple ghostwriters and then rewriting the entire book in like a 6-week period at the last minute. And the hardest thing to do was the cover, the title, and the illustrations and stuff. Yeah.
Now, the
absolutely.
illustrations are really cool because they're kind of cartoonish. Like, tell us about that. How did you decide on that artistic element?
Just to add like a flavor of comedy and like kind of like slapstick, make fun of ourselves. I have a great graphic artist that works for me, and like I'll come up with an idea and he just gives it that little extra. It's awesome.
A lot of fun. This is an over-the-top event, okay? Anybody can have a book signing, but this is like a book extravaganza, right? We're under this beautiful tent with lights. What are you most looking forward to tonight?
The party, the moment like the show is done and people's reaction till they see why they're really here, because the show, we've been working on a show for like 3 months and that's all we've done, and I'm really, really proud of it.
Now, you have Vincent here tonight. You got a lot of sponsors. How did you start out in this industry?
My mother was doing estate sales and I was a kid working at Vincent's, and I would help her on the weekends like doing clean outs, and I saw that it was like super fragmented, and I wanted to like make it a one-stop transition, you know?
Right, so that somebody could like take care of all the junk,
Yeah.
get rid of the chaos, and kind of calm everything down.
Yes, and back then, so I thought it was always the fragmentation of the industry, but now I realize it from doing it, it's the emotional, like, you know, and that's what the book's about. It's a book on moving, but it's a book on moving through life, period.
And you kind of equate it to like a divorce or some other big challenges in life,
Yeah,
right? And trying to get from one side to the other side.
Yeah. So I always say, because if you Google it, it goes death, divorce, moving, serious illness. Like, how does moving come before cancer? It don't make, but you don't think of it the right way.
Right.
It's the entire part about being settled or not being settled in your home.
Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Somebody that maybe helped you along the way, kind of curate this whole project together?
Sure. I mean, well, it all started with hiring Bill Corbett and Ron Sarantino. I was about to self-publish, and we wound up going out to lunch. We were close friends. He surprised me, and then from there, Mike Amoia.
I'm a top real estate broker at Douglas Elliman, and I just had one of the biggest years of my career. Now I'm starting my own team.
I've died and gone to real estate heaven.
Okay, ladies, look at this. This is the caliber of listing that I want you working in.
I wouldn't mind a second bedroom.
Of course, I have a second bedroom for my cat.
They're very lucky to have Eleonora, but I don't know if they'll all make the cut.
Really?
The fangs are out.
Sometimes all it takes is a little competition.
The gentleman that you had us all go after, I think I nabbed him.
And you know what they say, diamonds are made under pressure, baby.
I could bid $10 million on it.
This isn't going for 10 mil. I can show you that building right across the street.
Do you think she's a one-hit wonder?
She just can't get out of her own way.
Hear me when I say it's not me against you, it's me and you against everybody else.
I am doing this to build you up, not for you guys to tear me down.
You know, I'm a real Manhattan girl. Like, I don't know how to drive kind of thing, but barely.
And you don't cook, you make reservations?
I can cook. I'll qualify, I can cook, but yes, that's true. Yeah, look, we were big on Montauk when I was a child before it became what it became when it was sort of still grungy and had like really a little bit of a spa culture. I was like on Montauk, we did Fire Island, but really like otherwise to be on the island was like maybe for like family, friends, holidays, things like that. Yeah.
So Robert wrote this book called Nobody Moves.
Yeah.
And I've been asking a lot of people if you dance. Do you dance? A little bit? No?
Like what kind of what do we call dance?
I don't know. Like if you're going to
I know how to pole dance.
You do?
I do. That's not my day job, but I can. No, yeah,
That's a good skill. I heard that it's good for your abs.
It's great for everything. It's so hard. Yeah, yeah. I dance. I mean, you know, I might take a couple shots before I start dancing, but I do. Yes.
So this book celebration, when who invited you to come? Was it Mike, or how did you hear about it?
Mike really was the primary connection. Yeah, but like now we're all sort of family. It just sort of made sense for us to be here. We're in real estate. We facilitate obviously a lot of moves and changes for clients. It just felt like it was the right time. Our show just came out, so I'm here with the entire cast.
So did you always, was it always acting and combination of real estate? Like what came first? Right, it's reality, right?
Scripted show, and it's as real as reality television can get. Yeah.
What do you enjoy best about it? I mean, and were you ready for the fame? Like, were you ready for it? Because all of a sudden it's like
a lot has changed in the last week. I was ready. I still grew up in the city. I have I would say I was fame adjacent. I have friends. And so nothing's really changed for me. The best part was being able to do a show that's just like a tribute to New York. It makes the city look beautiful. It's really an homage to my industry, to real estate, to being a salesperson, understanding the personal struggles that we deal with as women in the business. I think it's a really well-packaged show. It's been received really positively. There's been an outpouring of support. So it's been great. The best part while we were filming was just getting to like hang out with my girlfriends and play dress up, and you know, it was fun. Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Like,
you know what?
Yeah.
When I moved from St. Louis to New York, I did not realize that Manhattan has all these beautiful little neighborhoods, so much culture, so much richness. It's like, it really is the melting pot. What do you love? What are some of the things that you love best about it?
You're right, you always discover something else. I always
always say that the best part about New York is that it reminds you how resilient you are.
Wow.
If you know, have one of those tough days where like you missed your train and you can't call an Uber and your phone's dead and it's raining and you've been like beat up, and everyone's had that moment of being in Manhattan and being like, I need to go home. Like, this day is off. Nothing is working out for me. But then you get up and you do it again the next day.
Yes.
And I think that is like the power of the city, is that like it'll chew you up and spit you out in the best way, because like you come out stronger every single time.
I was broke. I was trying to figure it out. I was a young kid, passionate about creating things, like creating art in any form. Music, just fell into it, and it just became a super, super passion of mine. And it just became very challenging when I had to like make money at it. You know, I was recording local bands out here on Long Island, actually, and I was doing producing, engineering, and writing, and just trying to find my way.
Who is kind to you to give you a start that said, hey, you know what, I believe in you, you've got something special?
I mean, it's kind of like a lot of people along the way, but it kind of revealed itself because of like my perseverance. I'm not trying to take all the credit, but like I was in a situation where I just had to get out of, and I was just like, nothing was going to stop me from getting out of it. So I just was working harder than anybody I've ever known.
The tenacity, if you will, right? And I know that this book has a lot of heart and has a lot of tenacity in it. What is your connection to Robert? Are you new friends, or have you known him a little while?
Okay, kind of an interesting story. I'll try to summarize it, but Ron Starantino is my cousin. We're in our 50s. We just met 3 years ago. So Ron and I met through my father. My father rides motorcycles. He was at a bike meetup with Ron, and he was like, hey, you know, my dad called me and said, I met Ron, who's your cousin. I know you don't even know who he is, but you guys should meet. You have a lot in common. Ron actually worked on Sons of Anarchy in production. I did production. And he's like, you guys should talk. We talked, and we were like best of friends right out the jump. So when Ron hit me up and said, I've got this guy Rob, and maybe you can talk to him about this commercial, and they kind of like were prying around, and then eventually it was like, you know, can you do this for us? And I was like, of course, you know, and you know, I did it for Rob for free. I didn't charge anybody anything, because for me it was, one, my cousin, but two, the passion behind Rob and the drive that this guy had. I love it. I love people that like just don't stop and want to succeed. I love to get behind people when they want to succeed. And it's like a give back, you know? It eventually will come around some way or another, and if it doesn't, he's a great person. I'm happy that I can help him in any way I can.
Well, you know, I met Rob a while back. We got connected by our mutual friend, Bill Corbett. And I just immediately knew he was such a charismatic, good-hearted guy. I was really interested that he wrote this book on moving. And when I read it, I was really surprised at the stories that he told, because when you think about it, those of us that are in real estate are meeting people at the best of times and at the worst of times. And just his perspective on, you know, the different types of personalities and how to handle it when you have an older adult moving or different times of their life, it was so insightful. And I think that everybody that touches real estate in some way should absolutely read it. They should know Rob, but they should absolutely read it. And even if you're not in real estate, if you are going to move ever, it's really, there's the piece of it that has really incredible advice on moving and what to expect, and it's really focused on the psychological aspect of the people moving.
It's more than just the key.
It's so much more than just the key. It's all of the pre-planning of the things that could happen day of, and he really gives you such a good deep dive into what he's seen over the years. And then almost like the whole second half of the book is his insight, which I loved the first part because it was all that I had. And when I got to the second part of the book, I was like, I love this even better because it was so insightful.
I'm 76. Rob just turned 40. I want to be him when I grow up, because mentally, believe me, I'm about 16. That's a man who started with absolutely nothing. I remember he once told me that his mother was in real estate, and he would go into an apartment that was disgusting and filthy, and his mother said, clean it out. And he'd clean it out. And then he got this old van, and then he got this used truck. And now look what he's got. He's got a major business. I believe he has 4 warehouses. I know he just expanded to Florida. This is the all-American story. There is not another guy anywhere that has worked as hard and has been as successful as Rob Esposito.
Dreams come true. It's persistence, right? And perseverance and just like really just going for it.
Hard work pays off.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Hard work and honesty, and treat people the way you want to be treated yourself. That's what it comes down to.
And he's surrounded by people that genuinely care about him tonight. The room is filled with people from all walks of life, and they're all just here, and it's like nobody moves. So I've been asking a few people tonight if they dance. Do you dance, Kenny? I'm looking for a dancer.
Do I dance? Well, you'll have to ask my wife if I'm allowed to dance with you. But do I dance? I dance, but again, my moves are like from the 60s.
All right, you know what? I'm going to step back so that we're not dancing together.
Okay.
Show me some of your moves. And on that note, nobody move. Nobody move. Nobody move.
Nobody move with me either.
It seems like you're kind of like at different ages and different like combinations. So tell us about the background of the band.
Yeah, so we're all Long Island, Nassau County, and I actually was coming off of American Idol when I met these guys, and we were working on kind of different projects and decided it would be a good matchup. Live show, it's a live show, people. But yeah, we all grew up in kind of separate instances. Our 2 guitar players went to high school together and met at like a high school talent show. So the band has been together forever, dating back. And so once I joined, we formed the 2 groups together. Adam and the Metal Hawks made Adam and the Metal Hawks. And it's been great ever since. We've been touring the world, doing some awesome festivals in Europe during the summer, and we just got off tour with Bowling for Soup, which was really, really fun. Great guys. So we're just trying to push our original music. We're putting out a new album this year and putting out a bunch of singles along the way, so keep an eye out.
So Speak and Robert, he was one of the very first speakers with Speak when we got started. It was Speak Freedom, and he did his talk with us, and it was unbelievable. Like, that's where I met him initially, so what an amazing talk. Yep.
Speak events are uniquely themed, so every event has a theme. So like our very first event was titled Speak Beginnings. Then we've done Speak Love, Speak Freedom. Speak Freedom was actually where we met Rob. He was one of our speakers, and he did a phenomenal job. And another arm of our business is not only do we have these live shows, but we have a podcast as well. And so during one of our podcast recordings, because the talks are put on the podcast, and while listening to Rob's talk and just talking, and it came to me, I was just like, Rob is like an everyday philosopher. Just how he thinks, and just he finds the wisdoms in just the simplicity of life. And so, we've built a friendship, a relationship, if you will, and and we're excited to be here to support him on his book launch and entire program.
Dancing for LL Cool J, Janet Jackson, Mariah Carey, and then I became a Nick City dancer for 10 seasons at Madison Square Garden.
How did you realize that you also had the same skill to make people dance?
Well, I used to go to parties and sign autographs for people as a Nick City dancer. And I was that dancer that went up to the DJ constantly and said, hey, why don't you play this? Or can I make a suggestion? I'm sure DJs couldn't stand me, but
not her again, right?
Not her again. But I just, being out on the dance floor, I felt like I knew what should come next.
Okay,
I felt it because I was in that energy and I was in the middle of it. And it was my job to get everybody dancing on the dance floor. So I sort of was like, okay, so we can go from this to this. And I worked with great DJs. I come from a legacy of incredible mentors who trained me and taught me what to do, what not to do. So I'm very blessed that I was already in the
read the audience, right? Like, so do you have like a plan A, B, C, and D? Like a playlist in your, like, oh my gosh, this crowd is like maybe moving more to this, and so you mix it up a little bit on the spot?
Absolutely. So little fun fact is my husband laughs because for every song that you hear out there, I've already gone through maybe 5 to 10 in my ear. So I'm constantly dropping. So you can drop them on either side of your decks. So I'm constantly dropping just to see what works, what sounds. I mix in key, so I mix musically. So I never want to crash anything. It's got to be seamless. And yes, I call it fishing as well. So I'll throw a song out, and if I feel like it doesn't work as much as I want it to work, I'll pull back right away, and I'll mix right out of something.
And you call it fishing, like fishing.
So it's like catch and release. So if it doesn't work, I can always get out of it. And no, I never know what I'm going to play. It's about reading the crowd. It's about watching the people in the back of the room. It's about watching grandma, grandpa, the whole. I want everybody out there.